Hi and welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we're continuing our series on the children of Jaehaerys and Alysanne, and on today's schedule we have Balon and Alyssa. And don't forget to follow the socials. I'm on TikTok now if you haven't noticed, and I have a total amount of 0 followers, so if you want to be the first, go ahead. But anyways, please like, subscribe, and put on post notifications so that this video gets out a bit in the algorithm, and without further ado, let's begin. So Prince Balon Targaryen was born in 57 AC at the start of spring, which is why he was dubbed the Spring Prince by the realm, and his name actually had roots from the Balon Targaryen who'd ruled Dragonstone from before the conquest, himself a second son. And if you think about it, this is quite an ominous foreboding by George R. R. Martin about Aemon's death, because the second son that ruled Dragonstone had to have had an older brother who died for him to ascend the position as Lord of Dragonstone. And Balon, his older brother Aemon, of course, had to die and not have any male heirs to be considered the heir to the throne. And although Balon never ascended the Iron Throne, he was considered the heir. So quite an ominous foreboding, names have meaning and all of that. And as a child, Balon admired his brother Aemon and would follow him everywhere that he went. And this was kind of true for all of the children of Jaehaerys and Alysanne. The younger ones would kind of latch on to one of the older ones and follow them around everywhere. And some of these older kids really didn't like it. Alyssa was one of the ones who hated it. She hated Maegel clinging to her skirts. And when Aemon began training its sword, Balon was deemed too young, but he didn't care. So he grabbed a stick anyways and began whacking at Aemon in the courtyard, reducing the master-at-arms to helpless laughter. And the reason why Balon was also called the Brave was because the first time he visited the dragon pit, he whacked Balerion the Black Dread right on the snout. And that caused Sir Samgit of the Kingsguard to remark that the prince was either brave or mad, and I'm inclining towards the mad part because I would have been terrified seeing Balerion the Black Dread as a child. Absolutely terrified, the cause of nightmares. And in 72 AC, Balon was knighted by Sir Rickard Redwyne after entering a tourney as the Silver Fool, and you gotta admire his name choice. But after he was knighted, he returned to King's Landing and became a dragon rider, claiming Vhagar, the ancient beast that Queen Visenya rode. And he also began training his brother Vagon at the request of his father Jaehaerys, and he did so for an entire year. But Vagon lacked skill and he didn't care for fighting, and the trainings came to an end when Balon made Vagon fight his sister Alyssa. So Vagon left the courtyard humiliated after Alyssa had taunted him so much. And in 75 AC, Balon wed Alyssa, and I accidentally wrote Daemon, but I mean Balon. And their first son Viserys was born in 77 AC, and he was named in their uncle's honor. I don't know why I wrote father's brother's honor. I have to just make things difficult for myself, but anyways, it was their uncle. And his brother Daemon followed in 81 AC. Together, Aemon, Balon, and their father Jaehaerys ended an attempted invasion of the Stormlands by Prince Meryn Martell without a single casualty, so they mounted their dragons and burnt the Dornish fleet before it even made it to landfall, returning to King's Landing greeted by crowds because they had done what not even Aegon the Conqueror was able to do. They'd ended a war without losing a single man. And Alyssa became pregnant yet again in 83 and 84 AC, and Balon told his brother Aemon that this time he was praying for a girl. Alyssa gave birth in 84 AC, and his name was Aegon Targaryen. But it was a difficult birth, and she never fully recovered, dying 6 months after, and the babe dying 6 months after her. And Alyssa's death devastated Balon, but he never stopped honoring his deceased wife's memory. And years past his wife's death, his younger and more ambitious sister Visera attempted to bed him to break her betrothal to Torrhen Manderly and become queen. She snuck into Balon's bedchamber and waited naked for his arrival. But when Balon found her, he remained unresponsive to her advances, spurned her, and sent her away. And in 92 AC, Balon's brother Aemon died on the Isle of Tarth, shot down by one of the Myrish exiles that had occupied the eastern part of the island, and at the age of 35, Balon flew at once with Vhagar to Tarth and brought them fire and blood with his sword Dark Sister. And Balon was greeted and cheered on by crowds when he returned to King's Landing, but he thought it a hollow victory because it wouldn't bring his brother back. After Aemon's death, Balon was named the Prince of Dragonstone and heir to the throne by his father, so Princess Rhaenys was passed on in the line of succession. And Balon was then named the Hand of the King in 100 AC, replacing Sir Ryan Redwyne of the Kingsguard, but a year later he complained of a stitch in his side during a hunting trip, and it gradually got worse and left him bedridden for 5 days before he died at the age of 44 from a burst belly. It was his father, King Jaehaerys, who lit the funeral pyre. And moving on to Alyssa, so within 2 months of Daenerys' death, we talked about Daenerys in the last video, Alysanne found herself with child again, and the child was born in the late 60 AC and was named Alyssa of House Targaryen, after Jaehaerys and Alysanne's mother, Alyssa Velaryon, who died 6 years previously, giving birth to Jalsyn Baratheon of Storm's End. And Alyssa was so like Daenerys as a child that the queen wept to hold her because every time she looked into the newborn Alyssa's eyes, she saw the dead Daenerys. But the likeness faded as Alyssa grew up, however. So Alyssa grew up to have a long face and a skinny body, and she had dirty blonde hair without a single trace of the famed Targaryen silver gold, and even her eyes were mismatched, one green and the other violet. Her ears were big and her smile was lopsided, and she broke her nose at the age of 6 and it healed crooked. But Alyssa took after her brother Balon in character and wasn't said to behave like a girl. She was said to wear boys' clothes and preferred riding and fighting with swords over more ladylike activities like sewing and embroidering, and she boasted that she was as bawdy a wench as any barmaid. And as a child, Alyssa followed her older brother Balon everywhere, but she didn't like it when her younger sister Maegelle began to do the same, so she avoided Maegelle like the plague. And she was briefly considered as a match for her older brother Aemon after the death of Daenerys, but Queen Alysanne dismissed it immediately, stating that Alyssa had been made for Balon. So in 73 AC, plans for their marriage were already being made. And that same year, Alyssa dueled with her brother Vaegon, and Balon had brought her there in hopes that Vaegon fighting against a woman would make him put in some sort of semblance of effort, but he was sorely mistaken, and Alyssa taunted Vaegon throughout the entire thing, as their sister Daela watched. But in 75 AC, at the age of 15, she married Balon, and their wedding ceremony was the source of many ribald jokes. And that same year, Alyssa claimed her very own dragon, Meleys, and the Dragon Keepers were actually successful in dissuading her from picking Balerion, stating that she probably preferred a faster mount as the Black Dread had grown old, and as we said, in the end she chose Meleys. And it is also said that the time Balon and Alyssa weren't spending riding their dragons, they spent in their bedchamber, and I had a very apt moment here to make a joke, but I chose not to because I'm mature, ahaha. And 2 years after their wedding in 77 AC, their first son Viserys was born, and although advised against it, Alyssa strapped her 9-day-old son to her and mounted Meleys with him and took him on a ride, and she did the same in 81 AC with her second son Daemon. So within a fortnight of his birth, Alyssa strapped him onto her chest and took him out for his first dragon ride on Meleys, and Alyssa announced to be pregnant yet again in 83 AC and gave birth the next year in 84 AC. But as we said, the birth was draining and difficult and long, and she never fully recovered and died within 6 months of her son Aegon's birth. And she was 24 years old, and Aegon didn't long outlive her, only by 6 months or so. And Alyssa's death, as we said, shattered Balon. He never remarried and instead dedicated his life to raising the children that she had given him, Viserys and Daemon. And here we have some quotes about or regarding Balon for your viewing pleasure, so let's begin. Alyssa is for Balon, she declared. She's been following him around since she could walk. They are as close as you and I were at their age. And in 57 AC, Jaehaerys and his queen found cause to rejoice again when the gods blessed them with another son. Balon he was named, after one of the Targaryen lords who'd ruled Dragonstone before the conquest, himself a second son. When Aemon was given his first wooden sword to begin his training at arms, Balon was judged to be too young to join him, but that didn't stop him. He made his own sword from a stick and rushed into the yard anyway to begin whacking at his brother, reducing their master-at-arms to helpless laughter. But it is said that when he saw his mother again, he fell into her arms and wept. "I slew 1,000 of them," he said, "but it will not bring him back." And the queen stroked his hair and said, "I know. I know." Prince Balon had another cause for celebration as well. His wife Alyssa was again with child. This time, he told his brother Aemon he was praying for a girl. And here we have some quotes about or regarding Alyssa. Alyssa Targaryen was as bawdy a wench as any barmaid in King's Landing, as she herself was fond of boasting. "I mounted him and took him for a ride," she declared the morning after the bedding. "And I mean to do the same tonight. I love to ride." Aemon had flown at 17, Balon at 16, Alyssa meant to do it at 15. According to the tale set down by the Dragon Keepers, it was all that they could do to persuade her not to claim Balerion. "He's old and slow, princess," they had to tell her. In 77 AC, she gave her brave prince a son they named Viserys. Septim Barth described the boy as a plump and pleasant lad who laughed more than any babe I've ever known. "They call me Balon the Brave," the prince told his wife at her bedside. But you're far braver than me. I would sooner fight a dozen battles than do what you've just done." Alyssa laughed at him. "You were made for battles, and I was made for this. Viserys and Daemon and Aegon, that's 3. As soon as I'm well, let's make another. I want to give you 20 sons, an army of your own." Though shattered by his loss, Balon took solace in the 2 strong sons that she'd left him, Viserys and Daemon, and never ceased to honor the memory of his sweet lady with a broken nose and mismatched eyes. And that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and put on post notifications so that you never miss a video. And don't forget to follow the socials. I'm on TikTok now. Maybe you want to be the first follower. And I'm on Instagram and Tumblr as well. I don't know why I keep plugging these accounts to you because I never do post on them except to say, oh, I posted another YouTube video. Maybe you want to check it out. But I'll try to be more active on TikTok. Maybe I'll make a few videos on there. And don't forget to comment down below for the algorithm and for interaction, and because I love it when you guys comment. So what do you think about Alyssa and Balon? Do you like them? Why not? Do you think Balon should have been king? Except just anything on your mind, just say it. Sorry if I sound a bit out of sorts in this video. I think I'm getting a cold, but anyways, thank you for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a nice day. Bye.